Late.
Shit.
What's up, everybody? It is Live with Lucius, and I got my regular boys, Fresher Luke and Ink Spots here. How you doing, fellas?
Good.
I'm doing good. I just want to say scrotums are good for more than just dinner, ladies. So.
That was last week's show.
Yeah, well, I say elaborate.
All right.
Oh yeah, I forgot. We already went over the utility of the scrotum
Mm-hmm.
stuff.
Yeah, we did. This is old news.
Yeah, we covered it thoroughly. So.
Oh, okay.
Never mind.
I mean, I think, there's a thing about repetition and like really getting something to stick.
That's another thing you can do with balls. Get them to stick.
Mm-hmm.
They're like
we don't want this to be the scrotum show, do we?
The scrotum show.
It could be,
Because if it is, I'm checking out.
If we change our avatars, we get 2 down at the bottom. I don't think there's a way for me to just reverse it.
No, I don't think there is a way to do it.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, it's important. You got to take care of it. You got to take care of your scrotum.
Yeah, it's your mangina. You got to take care of it.
So, are either of you aware of this bungling that John Malin did on his campaign?
Oh, no. Please dish.
Wasn't paying attention.
All right. Well, in true CG fashion, he did his campaign in two steps. He doesn't go past 60 days, but does one 30-day, second 30-day, like most campaigns do. Mm-hmm. And he was on the, I think it was the 30th. He was doing his first 30-day closeout stream, and I have not backed it yet. I was waiting to be one of those last day people. Not to mention anymore, and it's really annoying. Campaigns, I think it's the bigger ones, not necessarily the smaller ones. They keep on doing these like, oh, by the way, I've added this new perk. It's like, well, I already backed the project. Like, yeah, I'm already locked in, and it's not as if I can just like add it after the fact. You have to basically cancel your order and redo your order, and you kind of like, I would like the full money, not a refund charge being done on it, but in a way it's sort of like they brought it on themselves.
They should add that as an option though. Like if you back something and then they add something, you can add that to your
there should be like way more flexibility, and part of the inflexibility is what does this end. So this is the closeout stream for Godlike. It's on John Malin's channel. So
7 people on the stream. Oh my god.
If you look at this screen here, available, he has the countdown. We're at under 2 minutes here right now.
Right.
He has not yet put through a second 30 extension to this thing. All right.
Oh.
And this is what you have to keep in mind. And there's going to be one hero in the bunch here, which is Phil Diaz. Phil Diaz will say something at a certain point, but everyone's been drinking. And it's weird because John Malin was always the dry guy. He was not drinking, and lately it's kind of like I think he's had the alcohol demon bite and sink in its teeth.
I mean, he just made $187,000. So
well, it was also a part of his promotion for this is like every $1,000 he takes a shot, and people all about this drunk John Malin, and so I think there's some alcohol in the mix, and also everyone else. So Shane Davis said you're not going to make it. Or no, he didn't say you're not going to make it. He said, I think you'll make it to 185. And then John was looking at beating that out. So that was a constant check back in, do thing. And Cecil, too, is just, keeping things flowing. And this is at the point where it's like we're in the red zone, right? And it's I would have probably at 5 minutes. For me, that would be, the last moment, because I always figure anything can fuck up. No one has a perfect platform. No one has a perfect thing. And Ethan covered this on his own channel, but since you guys haven't seen it, I'll let you watch how this plays out and just see it in real time, what it does. And we might pause every now and then when you guys want to throw in a comment here.
Yeah,
Thank you, guys. I'm going to refresh, or I'm going to extend it now. I think I'm going to do it for 23 days. What do you guys think about that?
Why 23?
Just because it shortens it and hopefully bundles up the excitement a little bit more.
That's Craig's favorite number.
You know what?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, you sound just
22,
like
22 in the cover.
You sound like David Carradine the day before he died. Yeah, let's make it more short.
Wait. Pause it.
Sure.
How does he know what David Carradine said the day before he died?
You know, I think Cecil has lived a life, and I have no doubt.
Maybe
somewhere.
Maybe David Carradine's death wasn't a suicide. If you get what I'm saying.
One of those stockbrokers, he was like, trying to butter up, told him a story when he got drunk or something. I was
or he's just projecting here, or maybe he's implanting himself. There might have been a phase where he was doing the autoerotic asphyxiation bit,
and it went wrong, and he was like, "I got to get out of here."
I mean, it's I don't know of a much more embarrassing way to go. Like, if I think on it, it's like, you choked yourself out with your dick in your hand, like.
So I'm overweight, and I have a hard time breathing, and so every time I masturbate, I'm having that erotic asphyxiation. It's just like automatic for me.
Well, I guess when you are over 8, then yeah, that makes sense.
So that's like your tip, then, your advice. Just
get fat.
Just get fat.
Yeah.
Don't.
You're always struggling to breathe.
Oh man, that makes me think on like a strange connection. Like if you tie it to autoerotic asphyxiation, like did you ever see Pumping Iron, the Arnold Schwarzenegger bodybuilding documentary thing?
No.
So it was him like in his glory days of bodybuilding, like he's doing one of his last Mr. Olympias or something, and they're like backstage at the competition or something and interviewing them, and it's this famous clip. You can probably find it looking on YouTube, where it's like he's basically like, every time I'm getting pumped, I feel like I'm orgasming, and he's like, it's like I'm coming every time I lift. Like, do you get that? What that's like? Like every time I lift, I'm coming. Like it's just like, maybe let's go a little too far with what you do, man.
I think he was still trying to learn English, so he was just like, every time I lift, it's euphoria or something.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like he meant euphoria.
Yeah.
No, he was pretty well learned on English at this point. I don't think this is just like a tongue-tied thing. I don't know anybody who's just like, I'm euphoric and mixes that up with like I'm coming. Like, can you imagine? Like, I got a runner's orgasm going on right now, guys. Yeah. Like.
Well, I mean, how many people have you seen running and with a heart on?
There was actually an infamous picture in one of my yearbooks.
What?
No,
this
not
is
of
such
me.
A random segue.
This is not of me. This is of somebody from another school, and like it just was like one of those things where somebody noticed it, and then the whole school fucking knew about it. Like it's just like, there's no way that's not that. And then there, I remember, I think it was 2012 Olympics. There was like a row team or something, and like the group picture, and like there's like the clear outline of the one guy's junk, like as they're like in the medal ceremony, and like he put up like some post or something somewhere, like, I don't know why it looks like that. I don't know how it happened. Welcome, J Money.
Hello.
So are you aware of the godlike fuck up here?
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, Luke and Ink Spots have not seen it. we're in the under the 2-minute timeline here of where we see it all go down here. So I'm gonna continue playing here.
You know what, Dave? Just jerk off. Do
you need a rope? Right, around your neck.
Oh my god.
Could you slam my balls in this bureau drawer while I hang myself? I need to jazz up jerking off.
That's a thing.
I know it's a thing.
I've seen it.
It's why no one's been to an INXS concert in 30 years.
John, there's some people in the chat screaming for 30 days.
Yeah, you
got not 23.
Really?
John, you always do 30 days.
You have 45 seconds left.
There's Phil.
Yeah, you need to do it.
Let me get on down. All right, there we go. Saved. 23 days.
God damn it.
I'm kidding. I did the full.
Henry Bemis said exactly. Have a wank. That's what it is. Put the rope around your neck, but don't hang yourself. Jerk off once, and then say, now am I still fucking... And you'll be like, this is stupid. Every time you jerk off, you're like, what was I thinking?
60, right, Don?
Yeah, why does it say 100? Or
type 60 or type 30?
Type 60.
Simulation.
Says 1 hour left.
60.
And Cecil's about to do like this great epic troll that lasts for like, I don't know, like the next 30 minutes. He'll like bring it up every now and then, but it's like right in this segment here. And what I like doing is looking at John's face. Like you can see him like trying to like, like
there's worry. It's total worry.
Yeah. Control like, center and like what the fuck?
Save. Oh, extend. Okay, I hit the save and continue.
I feel like this is like when they were trying to the Ed 209. They're like, you have 20 seconds to comply. And it's like, but I hit it already. I hit it. You have 10 seconds.
Oh no!
Yo, you Ed 209 it, motherfucker.
You had 209 it.
You blew it.
All right, I'm gonna have to call him or email him.
No, they can't undo that shit.
Yeah, you can.
No, it's Ed 209 death.
So goddamn it!
Oh no!
I hit save and continue, but apparently you have to hit a different fucking green arrow.
Why would he do that?
Fucking Christ!
Yeah,
he was drunk.
Like, why would you wait for the very last few seconds? Like, that's crazy.
Well, you heard it in Phil's voice. He's like, "You got 45 seconds, dude."
Yeah.
You need to book it.
Phil knows what's up, and he's like sitting there. He's like the only sober guy in a room full of drunks.
He probably is.
Guys, maybe you should, there's a thing here. They're all just like, rah, 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 rah.
But yeah, the chat and Cecil like really pile on here.
John blew it.
Yeah, and they call him Don Phelan.
Don
Phelan, you blew it.
Call them right now.
I'll email him. Yeah, I'll email him.
Yeah.
All right, you guys talk amongst yourselves.
Look, I gotta say something here.
Yeah.
Dude, if I could raise $187,000, I would not be so lackadaisical with that. I know this isn't his first rodeo, but if I could raise that amount of money, man, I'd be like so on that shit.
I really like if you watch it, like there's so much back and forth. There's no pause. Like there's no downtime, and like he's been drinking. I think he just lost it in the mix of it all. And like you hear him like at the 2-minute mark, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna extend it," and then it's just like somebody says something else and just like sidetracks him, and then it's like not until like Phil's like, "Dude, you got 45 seconds," and I feel like this is the sort of thing. For me, this is like what it's like when I have to get back into like my health assurance account or something like that. Like I never go to the doctor. I never have to do this shit. And then it's like, what's your password? I'm like, I set that like 4 years ago. I don't know what the fuck my password is. Dude, like it's like once a year maybe I might log into it. And unless I have it saved or something, and it's like that whole thing of like, I know I have like a certain set of like things I use as a password, but it was like, by your third fail, it's like you have to call them. You have to go through all this shit, and I'm like, fuck, man. Like,
well, they were saying last night that John emailed like 4 or 5 people, and Ethan was emailing people to get it thrown back up. So
Yeah, they had to perform an act of God to a godlike act to get this thing restored.
I think it's perfect though, man. It was totally perfect the way it
Oh, and just the way Cecil is relentless on this, like it's the way it should have been. Like you know, everyone else is just like, what the fuck did you? Because they're in the same mindset as you, Luke. Mandy, Peter, Phil, they're all just like, dude, how much money did you just lose by fucking this up?
Well, I mean, no, I mean, if he did, I mean, look, if the campaign ended, then he didn't lose that money. But if he did, it's like, well, I kind of feel like that's sort of like a life lesson. You know what I mean?
It would be a bummer for the backers, really, like the potential backers, like the people who waited, or they're waiting on a paycheck or something before they got the tier they wanted. Whatever happened to be, you know, like it's just like, dude, you said 60 days, what the fuck? And he was talking about doing like a variant campaign. So somebody even like later on in it suggests like he should just put it up on Kickstarter. He should just run it again on Kickstarter. and he's like, he's the most anti-Kickstarter person there is.
I know, right? Yeah. Well, just to put a button on this, I'm gonna create a comic book, and it's gonna be called God Hate.
So that could work.
Be one called God's Mate.
No, because it's the opposite of godlike. God
his
hate.
Fat wife who spends all of his divinity.
Godlike,
on
wouldn't it the
frivolous
opposite be
things.
peasant? The opposite would be
Peasant hate.
Peasant
Wait,
hate.
what's no? Actually, it would be
Peasant.
It'd be dog hate.
Now you're just playing word games.
Yes.
Now you're just fucking with me.
Sinner hate, I think, or demon hate,
monster hate,
devil hate. I don't know.
Because the opposite of God is a monster, right?
I had like an old roommate like who would use godlike, like peppered it in on so many things. So I was surprised when he picked this as like the title to it. He was talking Project Thundar, and somehow we go from Project Thundar to godlike, and I'm like, wait, where was this step and everything? And he even says like in one of his other streams, what did he? It was something like fucking hating everything. I forget what it was. Like he's like, I was close to calling it this, and he's like, but you know, I felt like curse word would limit the accessibility to it. And he talked about some local Michigan band that had like pussy something or what, or the I forget what it was, but he's like, there's this Michigan band, they were really good, but I feel like nobody would play their shit because their name was this name. And like he's like, so I turned it to godlike. And I'm like, dude, even those two titles are so far apart from each other. What was the decision-making process on this?
I'll tell you what it was. They saw Forsaken Gods, and he was like, I gotta do something better than that. Ha ha ha.
Maybe. I think
joking.
Forsaken Gods is a better title myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we're gonna watch Cecil.
That's debatable. I don't know.
Oh well, no,
Yeah.
please debate it.
I don't know.
What's going on?
Look at him. Look
John's
at him.
like, I got plenty of time. The campaign will go on.
And look at John.
Oh, that's Cecil doing that. That's right.
Yeah.
I don't want where this is going.
I thought that was you for a second.
No.
You are in direct
Holy
violation of Indiegogo code.
I like how everyone's cracking up.
Go to Pixar.
Who's the Indiegogo guy? Joel or something?
This is John running around right now.
No, John, his name's Jeremy, and I fucked his wife.
Oh!
John's like, who do I call? What Indiegogo I got?
Fucking Phil, yeah.
Phil's just losing his shit, man.
Wow.
That is the
Cringing
one
out.
where he's shooting I meant.
Yeah, that was a campaign over.
Wow.
Fun stuff. This is what happens when you wait until the very last minute.
Well, it's not my fault we made it confusing.
That's true. Haven't you done this before many times?
Yeah, but it's the save and continue box is right there, but when you do that extension, there's a little thing that just says green check, save, but you just go to the save and continue.
Yeah, that is weird that wouldn't work. With
Anna,
it.
you don't have to rub it in. Be a friend for a minute.
I am being a friend. I've never been good at sugarcoating things, so unless it's food.
Holy
Gosh,
At
shit.
this
Joey
point, he
sounds
needs
so good.
support. He doesn't need to know what he did wrong. He knows he did something wrong.
What
John,
are you
I'm gonna
watching?
send you my contact for Indiegogo.
Is it Joel?
Well, there isn't there. Oh, pause it real quick.
Who just wrote in the chat, light him up?
Oh, okay. So the light him up.
No, it's Jake. Not hang on, Malin, John, it's Jake, not.
So yeah, it's a good like 10 minutes, 20 minutes.
I like how he's like, just be a friend for a minute, then he just keeps playing like.
Yeah,
What?
dude, he keeps going back to it. Like he's just like rubbing his nose in his own shit. Like, dude, you fucked this up royal.
Isn't that a website with the hotkeys to play those? Isn't that a website?
Yeah, like a soundboard.
Yeah, soundboard website. Isn't that?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Cecil has because later on he shares the screen and he's like, oh, this is John. Here's John, and it's like showing him getting shot up, and then he even gets the specific frame where his head gets blown out the front, and he's like, this is John. Right at the moment he realized that the campaign was closed. He really lays into it, but it's the most entertaining thing you could have done at that time. Everyone else just went sullen, and Cecil's like, no, I'm gonna make my friends suffer more.
Well, you could see it in Phil. Peter was definitely feeling himself, but you could see it in Phil's heart because I think he thoroughly thought that John may not be able to reopen it at that time because we all know the rules.
Yeah.
And so, oh man, I couldn't imagine. Isn't there what I was going to say earlier? Don't we have an individual rep? Don't we have an individual rep for our community at this point? I know Ethan said that quite a while ago.
I mean, Ethan probably has somebody
there's an actual person who focuses on this group of revenue for the business, and
it might be.
I don't know who
Ethan
it
said
is.
his name a long time ago. I just don't remember it.
Yeah, there might be, but it's one of those things where does Comicsgate start and stop? Who's in it?
Mm-hmm.
Where so many people were in it, not in it anymore, or whatever.
I think it's books or comic book related, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh.
Inside of this company, they have people who are electronics owned. There is an allotment of people that have literally a specific group of drop down menus. That is all they focus on. When I had with my service that gave me leads, I had an individual that was specific to me, and I think he said he had around 10 or 15 other people that's his only focus was for the leads.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably somebody that's focused in on it.
Yeah.
To handle it.
Has to be. Anyways, back.
So wait, is there a comics guy? And if so, is there an animation guy, or how does that divide?
Yeah. Oh, I wouldn't know what the actual departments would be set up, but there are departments set up for certain groups because there's some Indiegogos that raise an insane amount of money. So you wouldn't put someone who deals with small campaigns on that. I would gather.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like what my old boss Hugh, he was Iranian, and depending on the contracts that would be negotiated or whatever what have you, is who he would put on that team to negotiate, or at least write up the negotiations. So.
Wow, man. Now we get to see the sorry side of Indiegogo.
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's go back to John's campaign.
Yeah. I was just looking to see if there's anything animation.
I mean, there's like comics, there's art, film, and web series, maybe under art, but I don't think.
Well, I know there's some that have done a couple $1 million campaigns, like in the electronics department. There has been quite a big one. Isn't there a section where you can just search for largest funded or things like that? If I'm not mistaken.
Let's see.
I think this is more like
Explore
textile arts.
I know on the homepage they have like really, or these here, top 10 finds, team favorites, on-demand stars.
Yeah.
Like those, and I've even like looked at those like, man, if I'm really like struggling on gift ideas, I'll just like search the top of like these funders and see what
they
got.
have a comic section now. Look at that. Back in the day, they didn't have a comic section.
Well, I mean, I guess because there's so many people doing it now.
I didn't notice that. Good job on Indiegogo.
Yeah, look, my buddies Coming America, they did a lot. Tim and Mark.
I like how Indiegogo has become like the funding eBay version of independent capitalism. I think that's kind of cool. Because you remember back in the day, eBay used to actually be an eBay, and now it's turned into like if you search for something, you'll get nothing but corporate results. Or
yeah.
Well,
I feel like this is the early eBay.
Yeah, me and Luke were talking earlier, and I was like talking about like how YouTube now, I just fucking think it's just so fucking bland and boring, like compared to what it was like 5 years ago.
Yes.
Like the results you would get, like the people that were on it, what you could say, what you could talk about, what you could debate, like. And now I'm just like looking at like the suggestions, like the what to watch next. I'm like, oh my god, this is all just so fucking lame. It's so fucking lame. And it's one of the better things. Like, I honestly think like the Comicsgate like main shows are really fucking entertaining, and even the side like the people who are like, I guess you call them B-list, man. Even they're more entertaining than most of the fucking like major shit you see on like trending and everything else. I'm just like, so much of this is just corporate trash, man. Just like processed crap. But yeah, he managed to get it rebooted here, and he even fixed his one tier because he had it like the graveyard gear or something like that. And he changed it to godlike gear for that top tier. But yeah, he managed to get it back, so that's still on. Just wanted to show that was actually fixed.
So do you think he's going to hit the 200K?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I think that's attainable for him. He might even get up 250, maybe.
God damn it.
I think he should break his tradition and just keep his campaigns open.
Indefinitely.
I think he's at the point now where, like, for his initial campaign, I think it was a bad idea, but now he's done Graveyard Shift 1, 2, 3, and now he's doing Godlike. There's kind of a precedent set, and you expect it to go with it. So I don't think it's necessarily like a. He could make more money at the same time. This just makes it locked in. Like it's
Yeah.
no more people piling in, no more extras, anything. Like it's just like what you got to get it, and I think he could stand to like have sell like the extra prints he does, like the good stuff that's still left. On his runs, but like he says, he burns all the extras, so it's like whatever you got at that time, man, that's the only copies there are.
Mm-hmm.
For first printings and stuff. But yeah, I also let me stop sharing this one. So I figured this is something I worked on. What the fuck? Stop screen.
You should totally take advantage of the second print market and do a website of his own or eBay.
Yeah.
I think it'd be wiser. The bigger folks can totally do web pages on their own, I think. And do eBay. You should never. You got a big presence. You should at least have some secondary market outside.
This is just me trying to help somebody who paid me to do work for him. This guy, West of the Sun on Twitter, he has his own little page here. I don't know why there's black text on third grade background here, but this is a storefront, Viral Smile, and I worked on this one here. Let's see, does it give a bigger thing? So it came from Wuhan. Like he wanted like a mock-up that looked like the old classic movie posters, and that was one that I drew for him. And also I did the Corona Delta T here. So those are 2 t-shirt designs that I made up on his storefront. And there's also stuff. We have Cannon White. This is a poster / shirt for nurses, Nurse Brigade. And then there was a Donald DeLay. That's I Am Become Science. So it's kind of playing on the whole like fucking hysteria around the pandemic and shit. And as I understand it, he's just looking to kind of like do a positive spin on it. So I just want to put that out there for everybody to check out, scope out if you want to get it. But yeah. I feel like I'm hogging the mic table here. What's going on?
I mean, it's your show, man.
Features. It's the only showing I've done, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to go on any more than that.
Okay.
Oh, so do you guys have any thoughts on this whole Cowboy Bebop Netflix bullshit?
I hate it.
Like with the every fiber of your being kind of thing or something?
No, I mean it's kind of par for course now. I think Netflix has basically created a pretty damning reputation for itself in regards to this, and I kind of saw this coming. Like, like this whole adaptation BS that's been going on started with Harry Potter when Harry Potter made like $1 billion or something, right? The Harry Potter movies. And
so you think that's like Patient Zero is the Harry
that
Potter
was
series.
Patient Zero, yeah. And so then they started to try and adapt other young adult novels, and then those tapped out. And so then they moved over to doing comic books, and then those made a bunch of money. And now comics is tapping out. So now they're looking towards video games and anime because, anime's got like a massive, I guess, what we call it, like audience installed base. And same with video games. And you're going to see them do the exact same mistakes that they did when they were trying to adapt comic books. They're going to do their own version. It's going to suck. They're not going to respect the source material until one day, one guy who knows what he's doing.
I think they're ruining these IPs on purpose.
Why?
And also,
because
Beck.
Beck?
What? Beck?
Yeah, didn't his microphone just mess the fuck up?
Oh, yeah, Luke, you kind of shorted out at the very end.
Well, that's because when J Money It's something with your audio, Germany. It is.
Is it?
It is. Whenever you click your thing, it messes with my audio for some reason. I've noticed that with the other streams. I don't mean
Why
that
can't
you personally.
why can't you two just get along? What is
I know, right?
it about you two?
I got
You
nothing
just can't
against.
Silent mouse, by the way. No, I'm just-
No, I think it's because of your little earpiece or something. I don't know what's going on, but anyway, I forgot what I was saying. What was I saying?
Saying how Netflix is regurgitating all this shit. And
Oh
doing
wait,
it
so
lawfully.
Jay Dulles interrupted and he said that I'm just kidding with you, man. you what did you say? You said they're botching it on purpose. What was your thinking behind that?
Well, I was muted the whole time, by the way, and then your microphone went out, and then I unmuted and started to speak. And all I was going to say is they're ruining this shit on fucking purpose.
Yes. Why do you think that is?
To maybe so. I buy stock and crypto and commodities, and sometimes you need to ruin a business, and from that perspective, that can be the only thing is to bankrupt some production studios, snatch up some IPs, lower the stock, buy it low.
That doesn't make any sense, though. Like, do you mean
why are they doing it then?
They're trying to ruin Netflix, or they're trying to ruin the?
I think that's what he's saying. Is they're trying
Yeah.
to take like expected losses on this.
Yeah.
Like-
So right now Netflix, the amount of shorts that are leveraged against Netflix right now is insane. It's not like Tesla level, but there's a lot of shorts leveraged against Netflix, and I think there has to be something going on behind Netflix that we just don't know about.
Oh, I know
Because
what's going on behind Netflix.
They're making everything bad. Like, I just don't get.
Yeah, no, I know why.
And it started like with Marvel season 2 of everything.
Yeah.
That's a long time coming then, man. Like that was like 2015, 2016 or something. They started doing that.
Well, no,
I remember
this
Daredevil
is-
was like 2014.
Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it?
So
No.
what is your theory here?
No, I mean,
Pressure
so the Netflix offices, I've been there, or I've been outside them. They're right in the middle of Hollywood, and as you know, everything in Hollywood's going to hell because of the ideology that's sweeping through it. They're all believing in sort of like this, the same thing that's going on in regards to the military, where General Milley's like saying, I need to understand what white rage is, right? And now, look what's going on in the military. Like, we've just suffered the greatest defeat, right, in American history. It's been embarrassing for everyone across the board. Everyone hates the president because he botched it. And it's all because, they're too busy trying to make sure they don't hurt on anybody's fifis because they have melanin, or a little too much melanin in their skin, right? And so it's the same kind of deal. It's like they're putting sort of this ideology above everything else in regards to the hierarchy. They're putting it above story, they're putting it above quality. And they're all just, instead of trying to make a good show, they're trying to make a show that's going to please the 12 psychopaths who are on Twitter who have like 100 different accounts that like to brigade everything if something doesn't go exactly their way. And even then when it does. Well, what?
El Gargoyle, 3 years ago, they raided the Scientology headquarters building that is on the same street with Weinstein's recruiting talent studio and all of those other studios. The same fucking street. And if I'm not mistaken, the articles, I'm not going to quote numbers, but for hours they were taking out documents.
Yeah.
And I could only imagine what the hell they were taking out of that building out there in Hollywood.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty
blackmail
messed
on
up.
Everyone.
Yeah, it's Hollywood's a messed up place.
So are in Cali, where do you live? Are you in the northern part of
Sort of.
Cali?
I live in Los Angeles County, but I'm in Burbank, which is kind of like a little removed out from Hollywood, but close enough.
Suburban.
Do you actually go out? Like, is the traffic so fucking awful there? Like, what is it like?
Well, the
to,
thing
like,
is, like, people
get
stick
groceries or
to
something,
there.
like-
There are different areas, right, in Los Angeles. You got Burbank, you got Glendale, you got El Segundo, you got Hollywood, you got North Hollywood, you got West Hollywood. And in a way, they're kind of like mini cities within that, kind of like all joined together to make a larger city. And so the way it works is like most people just kind of stick to their area because that you don't really have to deal with traffic in that regard. It's only when you're moving from one area to another, like say if you're going from, like what I used to do, going from Burbank to say Santa Monica, like that's going from sort of like in the valley, which is close to the mountains, all the way to the coast. And because the highways there are just because everything's centered around the car, the highways are constantly just chockers, like completely packed. And depending on what time of day, it's basically it's like a worm crawling across the ground, kind of inching along, and that's what the traffic is like. It's like absolutely maddening. I did that commute once for a whole year straight, and it drove me mad. I nearly broke down.
Wait, so how far were you going, and how long did it take you?
So I did this. I had this job that I was doing in Santa Monica. It was the only time I ever did feature, and I was driving from Burbank to Santa Monica, and it was really interesting because there was this one time where they were doing this construction work on the highways, and they said to everybody, look, for this day, everybody, don't go on the highway. It's going to be insane. And so everybody stayed home, and the highways were empty. And I could get from Burbank to Santa Monica in like 10, 15 minutes. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. Because normally it takes like an hour and a half to do that each way. Yeah, because the traffic is so insane. Because they don't have any good public transport. And the reason they don't have any good public transport is because all of the local businesses, every time they try to get public transport happening, like, tram lines or train lines or anything like that, all the local businesses in like Hollywood and everywhere, they band together and they petition, the local council and government not to do it because they don't want homeless people getting on the trams and coming to their area and screwing things up and ruining business. So it's almost like this self-defeating problem that just continuously perpetuates. But it is what it is. Anyway, getting back on topic, yeah, that's I feel like Hollywood and LA and California in general, they say it's a failed state, and they're absolutely correct. Like it's going down the toilet. It's going the same way of Detroit really quickly. Yeah.
Well, Metal Movies and the Quaif, they both live in Cali as well, right around there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, it's like around there.
Well, yeah. I mean, Joseph King lives out here as well, so yeah.
Y'all just all need to leave.
Yes, I agree.
I don't know. It's better in Australia right now.
Oh, yeah.
Dude, Australia should be in the running for North Korea, like the most like subjugated country, man.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
like,
dude.
How to ruin a country, man.
Exactly. And it's a beautiful country with beautiful food, wonderful food. But,
it's just like Britain. They can't use Ireland this time like they did in the 90s. So, Idris, what? Hold on.
Oh, he's got a nope out for
lady.
a second. Lady.
So
anyway, what do you think about the Faye Valentine?
I mean, whatever. Like, okay, I would just say she's not the body type for it.
Yeah.
And you can work around that. Honestly, of the like dress sets and everything, like I actually think hers is like the most adapted. Like I'm kind of looking at the others, and I probably wouldn't have cast her. Don't get me wrong. It's not like I'm in favor of it, but like I'm tired of. I think my thing might froze here. I'm tired of these people like trying to do a one-to-one transition of what an anime or a comic book or something was, and then moving it straight to screen. It's like the naked Dr. Manhattan and Watchmen. It's like that was never ever gonna like just like sit with people. Like there's a certain point where it's an adaptation. Like you have to like move it over and make it not look stupid. Like I find the Spike look honestly more like annoying to look at than anything else.
Here's the other thing. Oh, go ahead, Jadala.
Well, my daughter, she's going to bed, and we gave her melatonin, so she's like that. She's 6, but I have a friend named Ferris who lives out there. He grew up in a military family, and he's done like B-rated movies. He paid like $600-700 a month. You got to pay to be in the union. Maybe it's more. Maybe
no, that's about right. Yeah,
and there's a mentality out there. He's back in New York now, and he works at a vegan shop. But they've gone beyond the deep end. But it's Gary was saying it best the other day. These folks they are spiteful individuals, and they will purposely miscast to piss the fans off, and they're totally doing that right now. They're totally fucking doing that right now.
Well, here's the other thing, right? Like, this is the great irony of ironies. If you've looked at all the other animes that they've tried to adapt, they usually put white people in the roles that are normally what you would associate putting an Asian in. But the thing that I find really interesting about Cowboy Bebop is they've got a character named Spike Spiegel, right? And yet they've deliberately casted an Asian character when they could have casted fucking anybody for that role. And like, don't get me wrong, the guy that they cast for him, this dude, he's a good actor.
John Cho, yeah.
John Cho, but he's not Spike Spiegel, dude. He's like way too old for him. He doesn't.
Well, and looking at this dude, like I'm like thinking, like, did this guy just recover from heroin addiction or something? Like, there's no muscle tone or anything.
He's from the stupid weed movies from back in the
Harold
day.
Kumar.
Yeah, Harold Kumar, yeah.
Man, he's tied to Obama and all that. No wonder why he's working at Netflix.
I mean, Jet Black, I'm not that concerned about. I mean, I think maybe they were like, I can just imagine like the executive meeting saying, well, who are we going to get for Jet Black? And it's like, well, his last name's Black, so let's get a black guy. Right? And I'm sure that's how it went down. As for Faye, yeah, like if you go to that lineup scene where they're walking.
Oh, they're walking.
Yeah, that first one, I think, up the top left, where it's like full body.
I hate what Google Images did. Like, you used to be able to like fucking. I have to go to the website to look at this shit, and it's usually trash.
But I mean, like, hers is. I can kind of see why people are kind of not liking her thing, because it's like,
well, from the waist down, and it's dumpy looking. Like, but I mean, hers looks the most regular of all of them right now.
I guess so. And maybe that's the problem, because theirs kind of looks a little bit crazy, and hers just doesn't look crazy. Whereas if you look at that, like, they all look like this crazy, cool, stylish kind of thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when that actress was like saying, "Oh, you know, they tried to find someone of Faye's body type, but she doesn't exist," it's like, and then cue in the
cosplayers and everything.
Yeah, cue in the pictures of the cosplayers, and then play the song of Curb Your Enthusiasm while you're at it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, it's
in the movie she did before this, she was wearing thongs, twerking on grass.
Yeah, and she actually looked like a little like Faye there. So I don't know. It's like it's weird, man. I think you're right, J Dollar. Like, I think they're purposely trying to piss people off. So
they're spiteful. There's a show that Heather watched that's about storyboard artists, scripter artists, and another group of people that are inside of like this show. So it's a story about people doing a show, and bro, it's and it's made by this it's nothing but a bunch of Jewish folks, and they play on that Jewish humor, and bro, they fight over fucking chairs, like before the meetings, and it's such petty shit, and it's totally true. I'm gonna ask Heather what that show is, because if y'all haven't watched it, it's fucking hilarious. One, because it's totally such a racist show, but it's spot on about how these people act behind the scenes during the meetings, setting up to do shows. And
I know I've lived it.
I have to ask Heather right now what the fucking show
All
is
right.
called. Hold on.
Bye, Jadal. So anyway,
Is Inkspot still with us? Like,
I don't know. I think he's gone. You still there, Inkspots?
Oh, I'm here. I just don't care about any of this stuff.
All right, fair enough.
is there
Okay.
something that is on your mind, man?
No, I'm
Something on your
working.
radar?
I'm
No?
working on
Oh,
something.
okay.
Yeah, so it's fine. If I got something to say, I'll pipe in. I ain't shy.
Well, I guess it's just me and the Lucius show again.
That's
Well,
all
I
right.
gotta go in a little bit because I gotta help my wife with some stuff outside. So
Wait, you're married?
yeah,
The
only
surprise.
for like 22 years. So
Jesus.
He's like, and you say all that shit and you have these fetishes? Like,
Yeah.
What?
yeah,
Does your wife know?
yeah.
No. All right. Okay. Metal Movies, Brewski says manga and anime does not translate well into woke Western live action adaptations.
Yeah, I would go for that too.
I sort of agree. I agree in the woke Western version, but I think there is a way where you can actually adapt them into live action adaptations properly.
Like I'd never watched the Ghost in the Shell, like Scarlett Johansson adaptation.
I did, and that's kind of what I mean when I was that point I was talking about earlier. Like they made this whole convoluted story to try to explain how a white woman would be called Kusanagi, have a last name like Kusanagi, right? Which is a traditional Japanese name.
Uh-huh.
Like, yeah, it's just it's just so weird. It's like they could have. I mean, if they were so concerned about it, they could have cast like, a whole bunch of more than capable Asian actresses who
Yeah,
could have done
no
the job
doubt.
well, but they didn't. And it's just like their thinking is so medieval when it comes to this stuff. It's just I mean, it would be infuriating if I wasn't just like over it. You know what I mean? I'm just like, yep, whatever, same old. So
Well, I think it's kind of like going to be the trend is them just like doing remakes and rehashes and interpretations of and everything, like moving forward. Like original movie ideas are like a complete rarity these days.
yeah. It's because they're all chicken shits. They're too scared to
Yeah, they are.
do
Well,
anything
I mean,
original. So
you have to look at even the likes of I mean, who knows anymore since the COVID restrictions hit. It's going to be a hard thing to pull everyone back into fucking movie theaters again after you gave them a year, 2 years going of being away from it, not doing it,
yeah,
and expecting people just flood back in. Like you spent, I don't know what the budget on the Black Widow movie was, but it had to be huge, plus the marketing and everything else, and the money just wasn't there at the box office, man. And like there's so much money poured into it, like you need that return. You can't afford flop after flop after flop like that. That's the thing that was about the Marvel movies that made them so good, was that they were almost guaranteed money. Even Captain Marvel, who most of the fan base wasn't really hot on,
he's made $1 billion, dude.
Yeah, it made money.
Made a fucking $1 billion. What the fuck?
Well, it's because it was the last movie before Avengers. I think they knew, like, they had to do that to make that work out as well as it did. But now, I mean, that was kind of might as well been called Avengers Shoot Your Load, man, because like there's no following that up, man. Like it's over. Like how do you beat that?
Well, now they're trying to adapt the new woke comics with like Kate Bishop as Hawkeye and stuff like that.
No one's going for it, dude. It's
no
just
one
like
is.
Well, I mean, they'll make it, but no one's going to actually go to that.
Yeah, and that's the delicious irony, isn't it? It's like they had a winning formula, and then they just went this. Now they're going this other way, going, well, we'll just keep copying off the comics, but their own comics division is now going to be sabotaging their own box office. It's hilarious.
I can't wait, dude. Like you wonder how like empires crumble, how like major businesses just topple over.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you guys go from having probably the best 10-year success rate to flatlining? Like, and it's not even like a decline. Like they're going over the cliff, man. Like the only thing that's going to make them any kind of money, and they would have been fucked if Sony had held out, is the Spider-Man movies. It seems like that's the only thing that has any hope right now, is like the Spider-Man franchise, which is weird. It's like it's coming back again because X-Men, Spider-Man were major, and the Avengers were considered like B-list, C-list, man. Like nobody was like hot for Iron Man. Like when that came out, like it was just like Robert Downey Jr. Dude, he earned all those paychecks. Like he turned the Marvel movie franchise into what it is. Like,
well, it wasn't just him; it was Jon Favreau who did it, really.
Well, sure, but I mean, he was the charisma that carried, and really redefined like their formula in a lot of ways. Like what they did with that movie.
That's what I mean. It's like when I was saying earlier, like they'll continuously get these anime adaptations wrong until a Jon Favreau comes along and gets it right, and then everyone will start copying off him. Because remember, when Iron Man dropped and it went gangbusters, then everybody started copying off Iron Man. They started doing the main protagonist who was like, this sarcastic, sly, like quippy kind of dude. They did it for the Green Lantern movie with Ryan Reynolds, and they couldn't understand that, which is why that movie went belly under. But there was a brief. Yeah, there was a brief period where everyone was trying to copy off Iron Man because they were like, "Look, it works!" Because that's the thing.
Sorry, that was probably the best joke of Deadpool 2 was when like Deadpool shot Ryan Reynolds in the back of the head at the reading the Green Lantern script. Like that's a joke you can only get by like the cosmos aligning like that.
But I mean, that's the thing. Like in Hollywood, nobody has original ideas. Everybody's chasing trends, and everyone's copying off each other. And it's just like this giant. I wouldn't even say it's a giant circle jerk. It's like the blind leading the blind. Like
maybe I remember, like in the animation field, there was like Bugs Life and Ants.
Yeah,
both came out like in the same fucking year, and then there was the Madagascar, and what was the other fucking movie with like the same fucking animals escaping from a zoo and trying to find home or whatever the fuck. Dude, there were like two of the exact same fucking movies.
Well, in the case of Bugs Life and Ants, what happened was Bugs Life got made first, and some guys who worked on that, they went to another studio and they pitched them the same kind of movie with bugs. And said, look, we need to get this thing made before Bugs Life comes out. And they did it. Because if you remember, Ants came out first and then Bugs Life came out.
Yeah, I think I remember hearing that story.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it just proves your point of what you just said, where they're just copying each other and all this other shit. Like,
yeah. Well,
circling the drain.
I want to throw in the something about what I've noticed a couple times. The actors have said that the producers and the directors have told the actors for certain parts of the movies to not look at the source material, don't look at the comics. And there's been a few times where I forget what actor it was. They said so and so snuck comics onto the set of a scene. So I think it's like maybe Hugh Jackman or someone like that, so they can see source material from the comic books. And I know Zack Snyder was really against source material from his actors. Like he didn't want them to fucking look at that shit for some reason.
But he looked at it, right?
Stupid. I thought that was stupid, but that hits back at something I wrote earlier before I got up. Heather couldn't remember the movie, by the way. But Steven Spielberg, he has Akira.
Oh my god!
And thank God, because he cannot find a way to make that movie, he has not made it.
There is
I
a
just
way to
hope it
make
goes
that
back
movie.
to the owner. Just go
Yeah.
back to the owner.
I know,
Please.
but there is a way to make Akira.
Not Steven Spielberg though.
No,
No.
Spielberg can't do it.
No,
No.
Steven Spielberg. I bet you paid a good amount of money just to sit on that fucking IP. He
Well,
hasn't
that's
done
the thing.
anything
They
with
do
it.
that a lot. They optional a lot of stuff,
Mhm.
and they never make it. And you know, the people who get it option, they're like, "Oh, okay. Well, I mean, I got $10,000, and like, you know, whatever."
Yeah,
So
but
It
I'm
is-
glad I'm glad it didn't happen either. I can't imagine anyone being cast in those roles and like me not thinking like, God, this is such a failure. This is such like.
Well, I mean,
who would be Tetsuo? Like, who would you cast as Tetsuo?
yeah, there's a bunch of Asian actors out there. I'm sure you could find a young Asian actor who really knows his shit. I really think you could.
Maybe.
But it would.
I don't
you would
trust
have
them
to
to put them in there. You know.
No, I mean obviously you wouldn't trust them, but the way you would do it is almost like making a Hong Kong film, but like a high-end, high-budget Hong Kong film. You just
Mhm.
cast a bunch of young Asian actors who can speak English really well, and you know you got your visual effects there, and you basically do like a proper adaptation where it's like this cyberpunk Asian sort of gritty, sort of I guess science fiction epic. You know, it's you can do it. It's totally possible. The blueprint is there in the film. Like that film is what got me in animation into the first place. When I saw that film, it blew my mind, and I was like, I want to do something like that.
Yeah.
So-
It was Vampire Hunter D, Fist of the North Star, Akira, Appleseed.
Yeah, Appleseed. Did you ever read the Appleseed graphic novels?
Yes, I don't have any more of my graphic novels, but I've seen all the movies. I had the first few. I have the Ghost in the Shell. I have some of that. That was pretty decent. But
Did
only
you
the
ever-
first couple stories was
Did
good.
you ever
The
read
Appleseed
his?
was
Yeah,
good overall.
Appleseed's crazy. But did you ever read? He did this other one. It was like a one-off. It was called Orion. I think that's
Yeah.
what it's called. It's crazy.
That'd be dope.
Well,
They
you know,
should do-
Luke,
Go ahead.
you talking about Akira and how it should be made. You should really go see Shang-Chi and the Ten Rings, man. Like,
That's a bad
Yeah.
way to do it.
I mean,
Oh, did you go
it's
see
got
that
your
shit?
kung fu. It's got your, no, I haven't seen it. No,
No, I mean Akira doesn't have any kung fu in it. Like that's nuts.
I'm just saying you're talking about like these Hong Kong movies. These big, you know.
No, no,
was
when I
like, oh my
say-
God, he's like describing Shang-Chi. Like
When I say Hong
oh.
Kong, I'm talking about films like that John Woo would make. Do you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
Hard Boiled,
Old John Woo, not
old
new
John Woo, not new John Woo, who sold out, right? But
Yeah, bro.
but I'm talking, you know, old John Woo, like Hard Boiled. What's the other ones? Hard Boiled's the most famous one.
Brokeback Mountain.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't do that. There was.
When
a
it-
John
I'm pretty
Woo
sure that
who
was
wrote
him. I'm pretty sure that was him.
That. Yeah, it was him.
He was director of that one. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean when it, you know, when he had Chow Yun, basically he was casting Chow Yun Fat into everything he made.
That
Because Chow Yun Fat was like just cool. All
Don't
the
you
time.
remember when all those like doves flew by when they were
Oh, yeah.
butt fucking each other out in the mountains?
Doves are just in
man?
every film. He's got like his own pet doves that he just brings to every film. And he
Mission
films it.
Impossible
What
2.
is the
Yeah.
the silver tiger or something? Walking dragon, walking tiger, hidden dragon.
Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, that.
Mhm.
I felt like they put that stupid bullshit in Shang-Chi as if it was cool.
Well, no,
or-
it's not that it's cool. It's just that they don't understand. They think because they're racists, right? We know that the
Yeah,
leftists
yes,
are massive racists, and so
Yes.
part of being a racist is sort of like, I guess, for lack of a better term, like Orientalism. Like they think,
have them fight
Oh.
on bamboo.
yeah, have them fight on bamboo, doing the cool kung fu-y stuff, right, guys? You know, people love that stuff. Or it's like, you know, martial arts is like a big part of like their culture because it's how they connect to their past. You know, and
Oh,
Yes.
Ang Lee did Brokeback.
yeah, Ang Lee,
Oh.
yeah, I knew it. I knew it.
now we're the racists, man. We mixed them
Damn
up.
right,
dude.
you motherfuckers. You may as well have said all Asians look the same to you.
That'd be Hillary.
Yeah.
John Woo, Ang Lee, go sing.
Wong Kar
Well, yeah,
Wai,
I totally
he's
agree.
another good one.
Yeah, I totally agree. But they did, so that's why no one wants to see that movie, because they saw that, and you think like some woman floating on air who can kick leaves around, teaching her son instead of the father teaching the son. And of course, the father is fucking evil because it's Disney, and this is like the worst. I wonder who said, let's do Eternals, let's do Shang-Chi, let's do She-Hulk, and hire an extreme feminist who hates males. Like, who made all of these decisions and why?
Kevin Feige, because he's a weak man. He's a weak male.
He's sold the fuck out.
No, it's not that he's sold out. It's like in Hollywood right now, all the men are shit scared because they don't want to be canceled next. So they make those decisions to favor those particular people to appease them. Because if they don't, those people can just turn around, make an accusation, and because now accusations are evidence, that's it. They're done. And if because they're all in collusion with each other, they can say, "All right, guys, let's coordinate, and I'll make an accusation, and then you make an accusation, and the next person makes an accusation." And so they basically, the term is brigateering or something like that, but they brigade them. And so the idea of that being is, if you get enough, quote unquote accusations, then people are like, well, all of these people are accusing him of something, so therefore it must be true, right? And so that's how they bully their way into getting these plum gigs. It's the elimination of any kind of merit, any kind of creativity, and I hope it's going to be the downfall of Hollywood, and I hope Hollywood crashes and burns.
Yeah.
And then the unions, the
unions are gone, dude.
The
They're
CSI
lost.
groups, it's like having lawyers run the courts.
Yeah.
And then so all the blackmail people essentially get to cast who they want, and I can't imagine what Feige has in his closet, rather, a bunch of skeletons.
But that's the thing. Everyone in Hollywood has skeletons because everyone's doing drugs, everyone's sleeping around, everyone's drinking, everyone's doing all kinds of fucked up shit.
He's plummeted.
It's like Hollywood and Los Angeles. It's Babylon, basically. Just everyone has just been doing everything. Yeah. Including me. Haha.
Whoa. All right.
Let me suck your dick for a movie plot.
No, I didn't do that. I got way too much self-respect.
No, not you. I'm just saying. Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
Hey,
I wouldn't put that past even the small storyboard people. Like, people just you're never even gonna get screen time. You're never gonna make it there. I bet people still suck the dick, still did shit just to get those jobs, dude.
Dude.
Get those jobs.
I got a whole bunch of stories about that shit.
Yeah,
well,
Michelle
we
Pfeiffer's
have
sister.
Time.
Well, I've gotten in trouble
about Michelle Pfeiffer's sister.
Oh, really? Well, that sounds more interesting than my story. So what I need is go ahead. No.
No. Well, I'm a Navy brat. I have Navy brat friends. I have a couple of my friends. Their fathers got stationed out there in Cornello, somewhere in C word. And
Coronado.
Yeah, Coronado. And they want to be actors.
Yeah.
And apparently the brothers and the sisters, man, they love the strip joints. They love the clubs. Because they use their family as their flaunting tool when they're out and about.
Really?
And Michelle Pfeiffer's sister stinks. She's not that attractive. She's old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think El Gogo is asking you, Luke. Did you perform on a casting couch?
Yeah.
No. I mean more like the drugs and the sleeping around and. I think stuff that I got up to was pretty tame in comparison to what other people got up to. So it's just more of the standard addiction kind of shit.
Well, there's tiers to everything.
Yeah, there's
That's
tiers.
clearly what it is.
Yeah.
Now, did that start when you moved to California?
Sort of. Like I'd had a drinking problem.
So you're this bright-eyed, wide-eyed
No, let me
Australian girl with a dream, and you just show up in Hollywood.
Let me say what I was gonna say. So I'd had a drinking problem before I moved to California, back in Australia. And that's because Australia like has a drinking problem in general. And so I brought that with me when I came to California and or Los Angeles. And when I, started getting in the industry and going to parties and stuff like that, other substances started getting introduced into that mix as well, and that's always a bad. That's sort of the beginning of the end. You know what I mean? Like it's sort of a bad road to go down. So, and then on top of that, like because I was like this foreigner and I was like this tall, handsome Australian, like women would throw themselves at me. So. Like
So
it
what was
wasn't
rock bottom for you?
rock bottom was when I was working on Gravity Falls, and I was starting to have a mental breakdown, like a nervous breakdown, and it was at that point that I realized, I was like living a pretty destructive lifestyle, and so it was like quite a while where I was like, had an incredibly vivid suicidal ideation. And
so were you like Jenny and Forrest Gump, where like you're just on the balcony,
No, it wasn't like that. Nothing like that, but it was
Leonard Skinner playing in the background. Like,
but it was pretty serious. But I realized like kind of like sort of like this downward slide I've been going down, because when you're in the thick of it, you think that you're you're riding high, when in fact it's the exact opposite. Like you're crashing and burning without realizing it. And so when I'd like hit bottom, I'd realize, I gotta clean myself up and I gotta fix things, because if I don't, I'm gonna end up dead. I'm gonna end up offing myself. And so I was trying to rehabilitate myself, but the problem is like, as J Dollar was saying, almost everybody who lives here in Los Angeles, they're all petty tyrants. And so if you show any sign of weakness, they jump on that and they use that to destroy you, because if they can destroy you, that means that's another, I guess, chess piece off the table, and that kind of like clears the way a little more for them to sort of get to where they want to go. And so they saw that with me, and so they dogpiled like crazy and ruined my reputation, making sure I couldn't get any work ever again in the industry. And so I had to deal with that on top of, the chronic depression, suicidal thoughts, trying to rehabilitate myself, trying to get off the booze and the drugs and all this other stuff.
Now, I was hoping you were going to say, it was like my 4th or 5th penicillin shot. I was tired of the STDs.
Yeah.
But no.
But that's the thing. I mean, like, we're seeing this, your boy Zach talks about it at length, and he's absolutely correct. Like, these people take everything, every little thing that you may or may not have done in your past, and then they take it and they blow it up and they dangle it over your head and use it to control you or destroy you and make you homeless, because it's what they get off on. And so that's kind of what happened to me, and it's what is still going on right now. So yeah.
Well, I think it's an age-old. That's why Loki was created. As a fictional character, you're always going to have that person whose joy is fucking somebody up emotionally.
The problem is that that's a lot of people now. Yeah. There's a whole bunch of them.
Well, you could fucking see it on the internet now.
Yeah, totally right. Yeah.
And they get off on that. That it's like my 6-year-old, when she gets tired, she wants you to get mad at her to make her cry. Like she enjoys crying. She
Jesus.
Yeah, it's just like it's a young girl mentality. My older daughter did the same thing. It's just a woman. I think all girls maybe do that. That's cry for attention and bullshit.
Yeah, you should beat him out of him. Beat that out of him, J-Dog. No, I'm joking.
Go to bed.
Yeah,
that's all it is.
Go ahead. Okay. Well, I was just gonna say, were you gonna share something, Lucius?
Oh, I was kind of, there was something I was going to ask you, sort of tied into the godlike thing, and we just completely kept transitioning away from that.
Oh yeah, let's go back to it then.
So as someone who has run his own campaign, his own successful Indiegogo campaign, how do you feel about it? You're pretty much at the finish line. Everything's
I've long since finished. It's long been over.
It's all sent out. Maybe there's a few people you're waiting to get back from, like missed shipments or something like that. But
maybe
it's largely done. It's pretty much in the can. So how do you feel about your Indiegogo experience, your campaign experience?
It was a learning experience. I learned a lot.
Yeah.
I'm interested to try again to see how much further I can get and how much more I could possibly raise. But at the same time, I'm a little trepidatious because there's a part of me that thinks, oh, well, maybe, people like... Because there haven't been any reviews for Forsaken Gods since it came out. And maybe it just means I got to wait a little longer. But,
I plan on doing my own for it. I've been kind of lazy.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't gonna bring that up, but I mean,
I do. I think it's worthy of a review, man.
I understand you got things to do, but there's a part of me that's like, oh well, maybe people read it and they're like, I mean, sure, it's okay, but it wasn't that great, and so if I do the next campaign, maybe it won't. It'll either raise the same, which will kind of suck, but not really, or it will raise less, in which case I'm like, ah, shit. You know what I mean? There's always that sort of doubt that lingers.
Do you have any copies left over?
You'd have to ask Zach that. He's the one that held that.
I would probably, as you, get in touch with him and just look at like whatever's left, like getting a head count of that, and maybe shipping those out to the major names for them to just have a.
What do you mean major names?
You send it to the PO box of Ethan, of Cecil, of.
Well,
John,
I would, but they didn't buy it.
Well, this is more for your promotion. Like, so when you do your next campaign, there's good word of mouth to get it out there more.
Yeah, I think it's just like as a bartender, what I would back in the day when I worked at Ruby Tuesday, I knew certain people would come to the bar that my bartenders would give more alcohol to. So in the bar industry, it's tradition for the bartender to give 10% away of the bar. And you make that up with them giving more tips and them spending more money. So it's just like sending books to John, Cecil, and all those guys is you giving 10% away of the bar. That's a good way to look at it from a perspective of business.
I get that, but at the same time, it's like I seem to be an outsider to Comicsgate because, for one, like my name isn't on the creators registry, Comicsgate registry.
What is that? You
haven't heard about this?
No.
Yeah, you have to. Mine wasn't either. You have to actually get a hold of him and ask for it to be put on there.
Well, that's stupid, isn't it?
Well, that just seems a little too
presumptuous.
I don't know. Like I would just say, as long as like I'm never like beneficial. Like I'm Comicsgate. I'm coming out. Comicsgate. Like it's like it's just like look at what I do, dude. Like I'm doing fan art for pretty much everyone in Comicsgate.
Yeah,
I'm supporting them. I bought their books. I don't feel like I have to like plant a fucking flag and have a fucking podium speech. Like I don't have to do that. Like I think my allegiances and where I stand is pretty well like plotted out. I don't have to do more than that. So I don't think you have to be on an official registry, dude. I don't know. Like, get your registration for Comicsgate.
Yeah,
I don't think so.
Yeah,
man.
all right, okay, good argument.
I would probably ignore. I would say it's more in your credit if you're not on that. Like in a way, just like I don't know.
I'm on it.
I know Inkspots is on it.
I filled out my forms and.
No, he was just a guy that made a website. It's supposed to be so like creators can find talent if you want to like work on other people's books and stuff. That's what it's supposed to be.
That's
Well,
cool.
anyways,
This Screen Actors Guild of Comics Gay.
Yeah.
let's hope
Pretty much.
that never happens because the Screen Actors Guild is a fucking.
I don't know. I don't want to actually like denigrate somebody else's like
No, you can denigrate the Screen Actors.
networking thing or whatever. Yeah. But to me, I'm just like, all right, yeah, whatever. Like, I'll just do my own thing.
But all right, well, I guess the other thing I was going to say was, I kind of feel like I've been largely ignored because I have been on John Malin's show before when I was first promoting Forsaken Gods, the first campaign. And I mean, when I was doing the second campaign, I messaged him. In fact, you let me know about it because they were talking about Forsaken Gods on the Jack show at one point. It was you, Lucius, who made me aware of it.
Yeah.
But the thing that really the thing that stuck out to me was John Malin said, "Oh, he was gonna be on my show." I'm like, "What are you talking about? You never replied to my DM, dude."
Mm.
Right.
You know what I mean?
There's a point where like I feel like these guys get so many messages and they can't keep it straight. I'm still like that guy to everybody but Cecil. Like Cecil knows who Lucius is and he can pick me out. Like when my art is up, he's like, "Oh, I think that's Lucius." Whereas everyone else is like, "Oh, someone did this," or "Who's that guy that,
I don't think
that
that's
did that
just
picture?"
you. I feel that too, man.
Yeah, I'm
I
like,
mean, I still have people ask, "Who the hell is Ink Spots?" all the
Right.
time. Like, who are you? Oh, I'm the Colors and Cash Grab.
Like,
You colored Cash Grab? Really?
I've probably been the background art, the thumbnail art on a dozen Jack shows at least. I've been like featured in it over and over again, and like they'll talk about me for like 5 minutes at a time, move on or whatever. But I'm still like, who's that guy that does the fan art for you, Cecil? Who's that guy? I'm just like, motherfucker. Like, I don't know. It's like, how long does it take? I'm not followed. John Malin doesn't follow me, and Anna doesn't follow me. There's a number of people, and like, I'm not really like put out by it. I can understand where you're at. Like,
Yeah,
it was something said
like
on the stream.
I mean, look, what I'm getting at is like I'm not put out on it by either, right? I'm just gonna do my own thing, right? But for me to sort of like send it free copies to these guys, I understand that business idea, but it's like,
Right.
Kelsey's like featured the campaign on his stream, and they've talked about it briefly, and they've seen the art, and Kelsey's been like, "Yeah, this is my jam, man. This is my jam," but he doesn't back the campaign. Then they've seen the art, they go, "Yeah, that's cool," but they don't do anything about it. You know what I mean? So it's like, well, I mean, clearly they don't seem interested. So why should I send that to them if theoretically it's just going to be like,
You're jaded. You're jaded. You're like,
but that's the thing. I'm
pass
always
me
jaded.
up.
I've been doing this for fucking. When did I pass you up?
No, I'm saying that's what you're thinking. They passed you up. They talked a hot game, but when it came down to it, and Freshly Loose like, well,
that's
hither.
the thing, right? Like, I mean, if they were serious about what they were saying, like, they would back up their words with action, wouldn't they? All right, and because whenever I can
respect being a man of principle, and you're like, you want the book, you got to pay for it.
Sure, but whenever I say I'm going to do something, I do it, right? If I say I'm going to kick your ass, I'm going to kick your fucking ass. Even if I'm going to lose, I'm still going to do it. Well, I'll try, but I won't be sitting there going, "I'm going to kick your ass," and then walk away. Right?
You give it a shot.
But you get what I mean, right?
Yeah.
And so it's like, look, if they see it and they like it, and then they back it, I'm like, okay, cool, that's great. But it's like I'll meet them halfway, but I'm not gonna overextend myself, because every time I've tried to do that and overextend myself, it just always blows up on my face, and people are just like, forget this guy, right? It's never worked out. So,
but you see, what they call in the business blowing up in the face, money shot. Money shot.
You fucker. You know what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
Well, if you're a salesman, you got the salesman who will harass you, and you got the salesman who will hope that the person comes back and buys whatever.
Yeah.
And then so to be being the optimist of both sides of those coins,
Both sides of the
I have
coin.
Bitcoin. I have Bitcoin open right there, so I like think coin.
How much Bitcoin do you have, J-Dollar?
I will not answer you.
Okay.
The
How much are you willing to give, J-Dollar?
You gotta give back to society.
Yeah,
$5.
J-Dollar. You gotta share the wealth around.
But the and that's what I'm saying. Like, so being both sides, being so in when you train someone to be a good salesman, you always have the pessimist and the optimist salesman inside of that class. So as a teacher, you want to be a good salesman to both the pessimist and the optimist. And so as a person trying to sell their IP, I wouldn't always presume to think to know what someone might really like once they have it in their hand, even if they didn't buy it. Even if they were to say that they were to buy it. So.
Okay.
All right, guys, I gotta go. I gotta go eat dinner with my wife. So I'll talk to you guys later.
Awesome. Thanks
Later,
for being on,
man.
man. Later.
Yep. Later.
See you, man. Say hi to your wife for me.
Yeah, from the perspective of talent, like I was saying, both telling the pessimist and the optimist. You can get a lot out of things that you wouldn't expect from the salesman world. That's for sure. I will attest to that.
Who was that?
Who was that just left? That was Ink Spots. He was fucking silent like the whole fucking stream.
I know,
like,
right?
He's working on stuff. No, whatever. I mean, he usually brings in. You know,
Was he drawing?
No,
I'm guessing he's coloring or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now this is the J-Dollar show. It's all about J-Dollar.
Oh, he was going on there rather than have it be focused on this John Malin, still shot here.
Well,
look
anyway,
at him scratching his neck there.
Yeah.
Sideways. Fuck.
Oh my god, I screwed this up. But I mean, maybe the second campaign will be a little better, I think, because I've got cool dudes helping me out. I got Von Klaus. He's helping me out. I got Christopher John. He's helping me out. I got El Gargoyle here. He's helping me out, bro. So like I'm not distraught. I got cool dudes who support me, like you guys as well. And I guess I'm happy with that. You know what I mean?
I would say if you keep going, like you're gonna keep building up steam.
Like
and it's up to you how you want to do it.
Like this show.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
This show.
Do you plan to have a supplemental or an ashcan for a new IP?
I've been considering it.
I would do something like that for sure. I think because when I eventually do things that I want to do, that is, I don't like the supplemental word. I like the word floppy, like having a 22-page floppy. Like,
okay.
I don't want to give an ashcan.
I guess that's the other thing, because like my book format is like way different from what everybody else is doing, and I think it was a couple of shows ago. I think I showed you guys, or Lucius brought it up.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got a complaint in the comment section of the campaign saying that the book was like a children's book because of the format. And I was like, haven't quite gotten that complaint before. I mean, people usually say this is a little different. That was the first time someone actually said, "Oh, this is a children's book." I had no idea I was ordering a children's book, all because of the size.
No, I wouldn't have classified it in that manner. Like what I got. Like I would put that as like a graphic novel. Like my bookshelf of like graphic novels and books, dude, is like up and down.
Yeah.
Like this whole like everything's the same size is bullshit.
Isn't yours like the size of an anime book? Like if someone collects animes and all that shit, if they order what you got, they would be able to slide it into their bookshelf.
Yeah, of a manga, you mean? Yeah.
Yeah, I meant to say manga.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it mixed up as well. Yeah.
And that's what you made, right?
Yeah, but I mean that's what I've
Yeah.
that's what I've always made. Like all of my books have been that in that format. So
like you say, children's book. I think like 10 inches wide. Like almost square, yeah. Like and
fucking
hardbound,
Yeah,
you know,
hardbound,
and
exactly.
30
Oh,
pages,
yes.
one
Is,
picture
is Jay Dilla
page.
gonna get one for us? Is he gonna show us?
This is from his personal collection here.
Yeah.
Yeah, like to me, this is a children's book right here.
Oh, there you go.
And this is a children's book. You know what I'm saying? It's like a Halloween. This is an independent book. I met him. He was sitting next to Dan at that convention.
Oh wow.
But this is what I think when I hear children's book. Your book is, when I saw yours, I thought yours as, because all my comics are in white boxes with a lid.
Yeah.
Your book seems to me like someone who takes their books and puts it on a bookshelf.
Well, that's where they're supposed to go.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I got.
Did you get a copy of the book, Jay Dilla?
No, I didn't.
Oh.
No.
Wait.
Early on, I didn't. There was a period of time.
Okay.
I have two work trucks that are still broke. So you have to.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right.
One is a F-350.
Mm-hmm.
That's expensive.
Okay. I got you. No worries.
But I still do.
Go on.
But when was your campaign out? And like I said, I don't buy every campaign. I just can't.
It was last year. This time last year.
Yeah, and especially when the Wu Flu started to happen, I wasn't buying a thing.
Okay. Yeah, it was like right in the middle of that, and also like it would be like if you released right now, Luke. You might have beaten it by a bit, but like
I wouldn't release
now.
Right
It's
now.
like it's like everyone's fucking releasing the book. It's either something's opening, something's closing, like and it's all the big names. So like you be fighting for that space, and I would say like. I don't think there's any proven great time, especially now. Like everyone's running their stuff. The best you can do is just get out there, mix, and push it. And
exactly
go end demand. Go end demand if it's your first product. Like there's no reason not to, and just keep that accumulate. And then when you hit book 2, you have book 1 to help sell book 2, and for everyone that missed it, and you've accrued everything from that first promotion. Moving to the second one,
and
I was what was I gonna say? I forgot what I was gonna say. Go ahead, say what you're gonna say, Jay Dilla.
I was gonna say, and in hype. I think with what you did with the first one, doing this stream here, doing streams on your channel, the Quaif and I are going to start streaming on Thursdays and Sundays again. Metal Movies and Brewskis. He streams. He has a book that's on Indiegogo right now that he is a couple $100 short. He hasn't reached his goal of his last campaign, so he may need to stretch it out. So I feel like there's this ebb and flow that needs to be hit with the timing of releasing your campaigns.
Sure. I agree, and I think I was lucky when I first released the campaign last year, because it was kind of like this little window.
Especially if Lucius, you keep doing this, man.
Yeah.
Probably
doing it.
Yeah, I would say if I had to bet, and I would say this for anyone even listening, go for Christmas. Go for Christmas. Everyone thinks that's the fucking wrong move, but that's why it's the right move. Because no one else is going to be crazy enough to do it.
When you go for Christmas, do you go for 2 months ahead of Christmas because it's like a 60-day campaign, or what?
That's a good question.
I would do like kind of all the basic stuff. But right now, if that was what I was gonna do, aiming for Christmas, I would be hitting up the chats, getting like peppering your name in, letting people be recognizable. Like it's not like who's Fresher Luke, like Fresher Luke, he's got a campaign going. Like it's recognition is like
I don't have enough hours in the day to do that.
I know, but that's where it is work, man. Like, and then you start being guest spot like here and there. Like I wouldn't be put off if like you had to ditch me to go to Bancroft or somebody else. Like,
well, I gotta go. I gotta be on Bancroft thing right now. So, yeah.
If you got to make that move, but yeah, you planting the seeds. And then when you get to that Christmas window where like most people have been like hands off on it because it's like, oh, that's competing with everyone else's holiday buying. It's like, yeah, but you do a campaign like you did before, it was really trim. You just had the book and digital. Like you didn't have all this bells and whistles and shit. It was just the book, $20. You can get the book and digital. What was it, $10, $15 digital?
I think it
Like-
was $7 digital.
Oh, even better, dude. Just
Yeah.
simple pricing, simple offer, and then you're like, you have some stretch goals to spice it up, you know, as the campaign grows. Like that would be like in my head, that's what I think I would do as a first campaign. Just so I don't do too much against myself, you know. Like I look at Camel Moon's fucking standees and all this other shit, and I'm like, dude, that has to be a nightmare.
Well,
to
I
like
did
sort together.
I did
Like,
I did do those things. I did do standees. I did trading cards. I did other things.
well, like yeah, but that was on every campaign of that.
You mean like
he did those
tier-wise?
he did that as separate options, like separate buy options.
Yeah,
And
I did them as separate buy options as well.
You did? Oh, I don't
Yeah.
remember seeing it. Okay.
Yeah,
well,
so in Indiegogo, there's this thing where you can get add-on perks, and in a way, and I thought it was really cool because in a way you could sort of
it was the add-ons.
you could create your own bundle. You know what I mean? So yeah.
So it was only seen on the add-on.
And I
Yeah.
remember from last year, just if fucking history repeats itself, I remember around this time trying to live stream and everything. It was just like, fuck, you can never find a time slot where it's not like Dan Fraga or Ethan or somebody isn't like over you, and you just at this point you just have to you have to take that hit. You just have to like know like, okay.
Yeah. So tomorrow we're doing the pre-Jack show. So if y'all want to come on. And Mr. Movies and Brewskis, you too, Bruce.
Is that on Metal Movies and Brewskis or you?
No, it'll be on my channel.
Okay.
I meant to say
Okay.
not Bruce.
Are you calling it the
Yeah,
pre-jaculate show?
Yeah, the pre-Jack show. I don't want to say ejaculate, but the pre-Jack
You
show.
should.
Isn't there already a pre-Jack show?
I don't know. I've done 2 of them.
I don't think there's an official one. I don't think there's
I think there is. I think
Is
it's Deadwood Dale and
Well, they stopped
Adam
that.
Friended.
So Deadwood Dale is losing his mind. I don't know what's going on with him.
What do you mean he's losing his mind? How is he
So
losing his mind?
him and Adam Friended stopped doing that show.
Oh.
And the other day he mute. So I left this thing because of Sketch Therapy, this chat group that he had. I'm like, bro, I can't handle Sketch because Sketch just wants to fucking argue with everyone. So I'm like, bye. And then so the other day he sent me some DMs, and I'm like, yeah, man, cool. I was like, if you want me to come to your group, I'll invite you to my group. My group just has artists and writers, and all they do is just pitch their stuff. Every once in a while they chat, but it's really just pure CG chat stream. And, no drama, none of that stuff. And so then he muted me, he unmuted me, he muted me again, then he blocked me, and then he I guess that unfollows me when you blocked me. So he kicked me out of his group, and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? And, yeah. And then he has had another fallout with Sketch Therapy. He is sexually attracted to John Malin. And I don't know why he's doing what he's doing. Like I don't get why you're doing that.
Well, I mean, we follow each other on Twitter, so
yeah, we were too the other. I don't. He's from North Dakota, South Dakota.
This is Deadwood Dell, right?
Yeah.
No, isn't he?
He's in Dakota, Deadwood, Dakota.
No, he's isn't he Puerto Rican?
What?
Yeah.
Deadwood Dale is white.
I don't think so. I think
white and half Puerto
Sketch
Rican.
Therapy
He says
is.
he's half Puerto Rican.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't keep track of it. Like, there's too
Yeah, I
many
don't
people. I'm like,
Yeah, it's the internet.
maybe,
There's
maybe
too
not.
many people, man.
So, Luke, going back to your campaign, now, do you feel like it was worth it? Like,
yes,
monetarily, all that. Like,
monetarily,
it worked out for you?
yeah. I mean, yes and no. I mean, I raised a bit of money.
Mhm.
I think, but I think you're right. I think it's just maybe gaining steam. Because I was talking to Zach about it, and he was like, I think around the 3rd campaign is going to be, is when things are going to really start to pick up. You know what I mean? Because I always hear different things that say, usually it's the 2nd campaign where everything picks up, and then I hear it's the 3rd campaign I'm just waiting for people to start saying, "Oh, well, actually, it's the fourth campaign that things start to pick up."
It might. I mean, it's a much more
person.
crowded arena. You
Yeah.
know,
It's a
like I
person.
feel
But
like
it gets crowded every year.
yeah,
Mhm.
I feel like
More and more crowded.
if you dropped Forsaken Gods back when 2018, like everything's just kicking off, it probably
I
would have done
did.
gangbusters. You did?
No, I did, and it didn't.
Oh, okay. Well,
That's
I
why
don't
it
remember
failed.
seeing it. Okay.
I was that's when I did the John Malin show to do that.
Oh, I don't
Remember.
know. There was a time, so I kind of checked out from CG for a while because every stream that was happening was like promo. Like, I mean, the same fucking books over and over again, the same main cast of guys. There was like people at the edges rotating in and out, but I was just like, I've already backed all these books. Like, I don't care to hear another stream, and it was like, I think besides Mike Miller's book, what was that? Lone Star. That I think I got that. Ordered it like in summer. I got it like at December, like right around Christmas time. Like he was of course one return on that, and I kept thinking like, man, Mitch Breitweiser's book, which was the one I was looking forward to the most, Red Rooster. He had projected that would. He was projecting when he launched that. It was sometime like in, I feel like it was August or July of 2018, but he was like, oh, March of 2019. I'm like, damn, it's going to take that long? Little did I know. Fucking a whole another year would go by and some change.
Yeah.
Or 2 years, was it? I forget. It was
like, I think it was like 5 years late.
The wait game has like killed so much of the energy on some of this stuff, man. Like, well, that's why I'm kind of more of a fan of the smaller creators, just because like you gotta fucking move your ass and get your shit done. Like you can't just. Well,
that's why I'm getting the next book done ahead of time. So.
Well, I don't even think you're bad on your turn. I'm thinking of projects like. Not to throw anyone under the bus, but Shinobi Sasquatch is one. Like I'm dying to get it. And it's like the worst thing is like I think the art on it looks great. I'm a sucker for great art, and I think Rob Willis is killing it. What I've seen, but it's like, when are we ever gonna get this book, man? Like it's been 3 years and still not even like, all right, man, we're almost at the finish line. It's like,
how much?
Where are you
exactly? How much did it raise?
80,000 something.
Fuck me.
Yeah,
Fuck me. This is bullshit. What's wrong? We are living in Cloud World.
Let me throw this in here. I believe everyone is at a different level in terms of their skill for doing this publishing a book.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe some people get ahead of themselves, and unfortunately some of the motherfuckers who get ahead of themselves raise a lot of money. And man, what are you gonna do? I mean, we can complain about it.
Maybe that's the trick. Maybe you got to get ahead of yourself, raise a bunch of money.
Well, that's what I was gonna say
and like
earlier,
fuck it up. It's like purposely
being a good radio personality, man.
Mm-hmm.
And
like what I've been doing tonight.
and then people like Ethan got burned so much, he is now on a tier that people have to work to get to, which is fine.
Sure.
Because now when people burn his intellectual property, image wise, that can hurt him more than when it did in 2018, 2019.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, I'm not lamenting that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's what I'm lamenting is the fact that people are raising 80, 100,000 things and just going, yeah, sure, we'll get to it eventually. It's like 3 years later. It's like,
yeah, that's what I was saying. Like Rob Willis and homie who's drawing it or who wrote it,
Cal Jameson.
Yeah, Cal. Man, I like both of them. So I'm not gonna say a lot, and maybe that's just being, prejudiced or
you bigot.
I think Cal. This is what I think. I think Cal fucked the story up, and it raised a lot of money. And as everything kind of went, you started to see Willis, who needs money clearly because he has 37 children. He has to pay bills as well. So while fixing a book, he has to take on other projects too. And I think if these people stay connected with us and they're still good personalities, they'll get the benefit of the doubt. But then you got what's that Puerto Rican guy who ran off with $35,000 because he started paying his own bills?
Oh, Critias.
Critias.
Critias, yeah.
Yeah, and I believe the Critiases were actually fun. I actually believe, even though they were retarded and they spent all that money, that was a benefit to the movement, I believe.
So in other words, this is the same problem but with a new coat of paint?
Yeah, well, you're always going to have fuck ups. It's just like how can you have fun with that fuck up? And some people, if they're not extremely introverted, they can do really well and make the best out of a failure.
This is one way you can do well with the fuck up is you have Cecil on to just fucking blast you into the ground.
I don't have Jake's. What's his?
There's a lot of J's at Indiegogo. I'll send you this one and your DM.
Oh, okay.
I mean, look at the faces on all these smaller, like.
Is he better than Joel?
I like how John's just not reacting at all.
I don't know who's better in a fist fight. Like, I mean, who do you go to if you need to borrow $5? I don't know. This guy would get the counter up. The other guy, I don't know. Try them both.
It's too many people.
John, I want to just give a visual representation of what's happening right now, if you don't mind sharing my screen.
Sure.
I mean,
that's brutal.
Oh, we got
Dude, it just goes on and on. Like that's the way you roll into it, you know?
Yeah.
Like what else you gotta do? It could have been screwed at that point. I had a feeling maybe they could work magic on it, but yeah, I never backed the Detective Dead book. I was just never sold on it. And then that was Critias's book, Detective Dead.
Oh yes.
And like when you started like analyzing it, and you're like, wait, you're doing a hardback book, 100 pages. You're paying an artist, like several artists. I think. I don't think there was just one. Like you had like the penciler, inker, and colorist, and a letterer. Like he was paying all these people to do the book, and it's like you're only charging like $30 for this book. And you like that's like Barnes and Noble off the shelf prices. Like we've already printed 1 million copies, at this really low rate, sort of thing. Like it was just like, dude, you're doing an independent project, and you like it didn't really add up. But I was like, okay, well, maybe he's independently wealthy, he can do this. I don't know, but yeah, it ended up being a shit show. And
that motherfucker ain't never had more than $3,000 in his life at one time. Critias got that fucking money. Doesn't Indiegogo, aren't they a little bit more strict on releasing those funds now, or is it still the same?
Indiegogo. Well, this is the thing. Kickstarter is really strict, whereas Indiegogo is like the opposite. Like they get you those funds like right away, and they'll reserve a little bit, obviously, for like refunds and stuff like that. But I guess, like Indiegogo and Kickstarter are like way different in regards to their policies and sort of everything. And I feel like Indiegogo is like the much more flexible and superior platform, in my opinion. So,
yeah. I think they've adapted it to us a lot. That's for sure.
But I mean that's great of them. Whereas with Kickstarter, it's like the exact opposite. So someone's talking.
I knew it was over for Crid when he mentioned being hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt on stream.
Yeah, I would.
Just don't
I
pay
would
it
probably
back.
think that too. Oh, I remember the last time they had him on. He's like, "Oh, I'll get the book done." Nah, no, you won't.
That was so cringe. Those last few streams, and Antonio had him on trying to be like a mediator, and then he was on one other stream, and that was just god awfully cringe. And I enjoy watching failure from this perspective.
Jesus.
So instead of like going through it yourself, isn't it always cool to watch
Oh
someone
well,
else go
it
through
can
that?
definitely like perk you up too, man. Like
Yeah.
watching those like
Mm.
My Strange Addictions and 600-Pound Lice. You're just like, you know, I had shitty days, shitty weeks, but fuck me, I ain't that guy. I'm not that person. Like eating dirt from a sandbox, you know, because I can't help myself. I have to do it, like sort of thing. Like, what is you see these people with like a major fucking screw loose.
Yeah. And then
True.
they'll never have it.
They'll never have a real relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah. They'll never know the joy of a loving partner.
Yeah, well, you know, we'll never know the joy of a blow up doll, you know, hair on
True.
them or something.
But I feel like most of us can go through life thinking, you know what, I'm fine with that. I'm fine never knowing that feeling sensation. So
No.
What?
I'm cool with it,
yeah. Why did you say no, J Dollar?
Well, I always need sensation. What are you talking about?
No, I mean
Not-
the idea of being with the blow up doll is what I meant.
Oh, no, I don't want to blow it.
or eating the stuffing out of the couch, or wearing baby diapers and making yourself an adult-sized baby crib and having somebody play mom to you. Like the shit on these shows, dude. Like people
Is
are
this-
obsessed with like Cabbage Patch Kids, and like they have an entire basement, like literally the like edge to edge is filled with it, and they're like they can't get rid of it. You know, like it's
Wait, is it like a pool of Cabbage Patch Kids? They swim in it?
no, it's just you know, like the entire like if you took the basement of anybody's house that has like an established basement, and it's just wall
Right.
to wall, every last square inch you have, you know, shelving made for these things just to fill it in.
Yeah.
And you're just like, okay, like at what point, where does this stop? Where do you like finally say enough's enough? And you just like, and you like, they hunt them down. You know, it's like they're when they have that free time and they have that moment, it's just like, oh, we need to go look at we need to go to the store. We need to go, like it's like you do trips around town, like to the next town over, looking for these things and stuff. They're eBay shopping. Like you're just like, holy shit, how did someone get this broken? How did somebody like get this fixated on finding like the next Cabbage Patch Kid? Or I don't know if that's
Well, there are people in the 30s and 40s who are still buying action figures, dude.
that's true. That's true. But
Which
I mean,
I find that really weird.
I bought the 2 Skeletors from the SDCC 2021. Just glow
Why?
in the dark. Because I'm going to get them graded. And I'm going to sell them on eBay.
All right, so that's, you know, that makes sense. You're making money off it.
Yep.
But I'm talking about dudes who like collect this shit and like
Yeah, I
build glass cases for it.
There's a few things like I like comic books, but like
Yeah.
you know,
Like look, I understand comic books because it's like a story, right? It's like movies, right? Like people love movies.
yeah, I got a bunch of DVDs.
Yeah, right. But it's like action figures. You played with those when you were a kid. You're an adult now. It's time to let it go. You know. You know what I mean?
I picture
I don't mean you, J Dollar. I mean the people who
I don't
obsess
have
over
dolls.
it.
I don't have any damn.
Yeah,
dolls.
but you get what I mean, right? It's like
this is a heavy ass piece of porcelain.
yeah, that's fucking dope. I love that. That's excellent.
But who is that? What's that movie with the guy who had to sell all his dolls when he got the girlfriend?
40-year-old virgin.
40-year-old virgin.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes
That's
when
exactly what I mean. Yeah.
Sometimes when I see some of these backgrounds, I wonder. And My 17-year-old's right there. She's like, I can probably hear her slamming the fucking mouse. That's all I hear.
But it's like, you know, I know guys in animation who are like in their 40s, right? There's one guy who just collects nothing but Iron Man figurines, like action figures. And he's just got like this room dedicated to just having all these figures, and they're all toys, right? I'm like, dude, like you're going on, like you're in your 40s, late 40s, early 50s, and you're still doing this shit? You know what I mean? It's like, you're an adult, man. It's time to put that shit away, dude. You know? And it's the same with, you know, people being obsessed over, like, Cowboy Bebop, and to the point where they just harass actors. It's like, sure, it sucks, but it's like, it's just a show, bro. You know? It's like, get over it.
I believe, like, there's a balance. Like, with Ethan, what he does behind him, that's perfect. That's perfect. You know,
I feel like
if he wasn't doing the show, he would probably have like mafia and like bar memorabilia.
Yeah,
and less dolls. But since he does the
dolls,
show, he probably just goes fucking retarded with it.
But then you look at Nerdrotic, who's got like that wall of figurines. That is strange.
Well, I think Ethan's stuff is like stuff he worked on. Like that was his characters or his like models and stuff. Like
I mean, I can understand that, because it's like, oh yeah, look at this thing, because it's like, in a way, you designed it, you helped create it, so it's like a little memento of like, yeah, you know what I mean? So that makes sense.
Yeah, but there are people that go. I remember one of my babysitters when we lived in South Carolina. The entire fucking living room was like 6 or 7 or 8 fucking rows of the porcelain dolls, and they all had their own fucking stand, and it's the scariest shit. I still think about that to this day.
Wow.
But her whole living room, and she always kept the lights off because she was afraid that the lights would hurt the colors on the dolls.
Oh, like bleach the color out.
Yeah. So she always had
Well, I mean, I guess it would depend on the voltage and the kind of light. Like if heat was coming off of that thing.
Yeah, I don't. That's just what she did.
Yeah, and I bet she like demanded that you made love to her in the living room as the dolls watched, right?
No, she was badass, man. She always gave us dope ass snacks, but her backyard was it was like a playground out of school. So she probably
that's weird.
All the money she made, she bought weird, creepy dolls.
Okay.
Or what if she had that playground to lure in kids that had those dolls?
Her soul out
and then like,
she turned those children into those dolls. Those
every few years, a kid would go missing, and it's like, oh, you got
only
doll
7
collection.
survive.
Yeah,
that would be a cool story.
That'd be a horror movie. Yeah,
do it.
It's like it.
South Carolina was weird, bro.
Hey, which state is the Mothman in?
I don't know.
What do you mean by that, the Mothman?
There's like the Mothman prophecies or some such, like it's like a.
Oh, it's a film. It's an actual film.
No, there's like a legit
legend.
Yeah, legit like cryptid legend where like wherever the Mothman is sighted, like usually
made a book
bad
about
luck
that.
follows.
There's an Indiegogo campaign.
Richard Greer's in the movie.
But I was thinking one of my friends like told me about like when she was in high school, somewhere in Texas.
West Virginia.
Oh, West Virginia. Okay. Stay away from West Virginia, guys.
For 2 reasons now.
Yeah.
She was somewhere in Texas, and she was out with like her friends, and they thought they knew this girl who was like walking down the road, and they're like, oh, you need a ride, and then like they soon discover, like talking amongst themselves, it's like no one knows who this girl is, but they offered her a ride home, and she's like, wow, you guys are awesome, you guys are really great. I'm like, okay, well, where do you live? And they're just like going further and further down like this like backcountry road in Texas, and then they get to like where the house is, and she's like, there was this long driveway, and as you go up it, you just start seeing like all these decapitated doll heads like around the yard, hanging from the trees and shit. We're like, what the fuck did we just get into? And then like the girl was like really nice and stuff. She's like, "Do you guys want to come in? Like, this was so nice of you to give me right." No, we're fine. We're fine. You can. Don't worry about it. You go on.
Yeah, we got a thing we gotta get to. Like, yeah, it's cool, man. Don't worry about it.
And oh, you did the back cover.
Oh, nice.
I was thinking, man, like,
Wait,
that would be like a nice way to set up like your own like security system. Like, don't go for ADT. Like, just put a bunch of creepy shit around your house. Like, where it's just like, dude, you don't know. You go in that house, you will never come out.
That has two effects. One,
I was thinking
it'll
it'll bring people around that want to test their metal and all that.
Yeah, there will be those kids who are like, oh, we'll dare you to go into the thing and get the thing or something or other, right? Because there will be those people who be like, stay away from that, right? But then there'll be those few like idiots who don't know when to stay away, who would just like, yeah, as you said, test their metal and see what's really going on. They're like their curiosity like just overtakes them.
Yeah, that's just a thought I had. Well, we're at
Anyway.
the 2-hour mark. Anything on your guys' like radar you want to bring
Australia?
up on the show? I mean, listen, I just feel like I bashed Australia a couple weeks in a row, and like it's like they set the volleyball up for me to spike over the net, man. Like,
Well, I mean, we can talk about it if you
week
want.
by week.
I got an official Australian here.
Yeah, I mean, sadly, my keyboard, my laptop keyboard, is just like giving out on me. It's a touchscreen though, so I can still do stuff, but it's not typing for me. So I can't exactly pull anything out. But I remember seeing something. I think it was actually Britain though, not Australia, where some guy was talking on. It was on Captain Chokeout's Twitter thing, and it's something that's been like retweeted to death. And it's a talk show where a guy's on the phone. And he's like, yeah, doctors wouldn't see me face to face. And I had this like, this skin rash patch on like my neck or my head or something like that. And they said, we can't see you face to face. You have to send in a picture. And he starts breaking down like as he's telling the story. And, the guys just listen. And it's like, so they said it was an infection. They gave me some antibiotics to fill out. I took the antibiotics. And my wife tells me, you need to see a doctor again. It's not getting any better. It's getting worse. And so, this is months later or something. He's like, oh, well, I'm vaccinated. I got both of the vaccinations. I'll wear a mask. I'll wear gloves. I'll do whatever, but I need somebody to see me. And so they finally take him in, and then they do a biopsy, find out that it's cancer. And not only that, but it's inoperable. And he has 12 months to live. And it's like, in those months, from February till now, was there time for them to like catch it, do something about it? So he's looking, yeah. And it's just like I left a thing. Xevious was on one of his Twitter posts that he put up, I think yesterday. He was talking about like how his parents, essentially, he got off the phone with his dad or one of his folks, and they're like, yeah, until you get vaccinated, don't come around, the house or whatever. I was just like, dude, like, my parents were like worried about it too, and I kind of like understand. I think they saw me, but they were just kind of like, keep your distance, don't do that. Like, it was like, don't go in the kitchen, don't do this or that or the other. But like they were freaked out, and like it dawned on me like just how old my parents were. Like I've joked on like them being ancient, but now they are ancient, and I'm like, shit, and it's like if I was at the age, I might be a little freaked out too.
Sure.
But they weren't. It was never like you're dead to us unless you do XYZ or anything like that. They got vaccinated, and then they're like, yeah, you're cool to come over whenever, and they've been chill about it since. And I'm just like, that seems reasonable. Why can't the rest of the fucking world get on this program of like, you're vaccinated, so why don't you got your shield? What are you worried about me for? Like, and I left a response to him like, dude, like I've had people, even before this, like, you know, the whole Republican thing, like, people cut you off over the stupidest shit. I'm just
Oh
like,
yeah.
dude, like, this is not my life. This is not what I'm all about. I'm not here prophetizing whatever to you guys. Like, it's like I can talk about the stupid bullshit, you know, on Netflix or you know, the latest Game of Thrones and how they're fucking it up or whatever. Like, you know, like I can shoot the shit. You know,
Yeah.
like, we don't have to focus on this small compartment of bullshit that everyone is just blowing out of a proportion. And I was like, never have I seen so much done over so little. Like, I get into these fights, man, sometimes, like these arguments, like, you know, like, where like my girlfriend and some other people, I'm like, where are the bodies? Where are the fucking bodies? There should be a trail. I should be able to, like, list off 5 people from the top of my head to justify shutting down, like sorting out businesses, essential, non-essential, overstepping all sorts of government restrictions, like eviction moratoriums, people locked down, like literally locked down, like for everything they've given up, and we haven't seen the end of this. There's going to be ramifications, really harsh ramifications coming up. Like, there's no way, like, you shut down all this shit and then just reopen it and expect.
We got a crashing economy to look forward to very soon, right? It's right around the corner, I feel like.
I mean, even best case scenario, like, this is like somebody who's bent the hose, man. Like, you know, like, water stopped, and then you unbend it, it's gonna fucking go all over, like, splash you in the face. Like, you're gonna like you don't just stop the entire world economy and restart it, and it just, like, picks up where it left off. Like, oh yeah, you know.
Have you seen the show Taboo with Tom Hardy?
I think you said this last week.
Watch that shit, bro.
Okay.
That's the Wu flu. Justinian, the second or first, whatever. The same thing happened to him. As soon as he died, the Black Plague disappeared. They did it in England 3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
Egypt used to use it all the time.
I mean, do either of you know anybody personally? Anybody who's like gone down with this?
Well, my mom, when she was younger, she had scarlet fever or whatever. So she takes hydroxychloroquine. She's been taking it for her entire fucking life. And it's like $2 or $3. And for the first time this year, her inhaler and her hydroxychloroquine are from fucking India. And they're like next to nothing in price. Next to nothing in price. And she's been taking that shit all her life. Her inhaler, it looks completely different than the way the other inhaler used to look. It's completely different. It's a whole different color. It's like orange and white, or like a yellow, orange and white. And it's like 40, 60, 70% cheaper than the previous shit that she's been getting her whole life.
But do you either of you know anyone who's
nobody
from this hospitalized?
Who's like croaked
or even just like been in,
I mean,
like
Jose has said that he got it, but he got over it. So.
But what happened to pneummonia?
Right, dude, all these things.
Where
like
did
they're all still out there. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's obvious. Like they're just trying to control. It's
I have what's that book at?
Somebody, I remember. I don't remember exactly where, but I think it was somewhere out in California. They had to revamp.
This is the Wu flu book.
Eyes of
Darkness. Eyes of Darkness. Yeah.
Yeah. So this book, it was next to impossible to get the because they bought all the copies, the paper copies, off the internet. So I got the digital copy. But this book is about so in the 50s and the 60s, the patents that they used to alter pig and swine flu, types of malaria that you get from mosquitoes and things like that. That's where ivermectin came from for horses and your livestock, from malaria and flies. That's where hydroxychloroquine came from for malaria in Africa and these swamp regions where you have to sleep under fucking nets. Anyway, in this book, when patents are like movies and comic books and intellectual properties. After a certain amount of years, your pill goes from a powder to a liquid, and then you're able to keep your patent for just a few more 6 to 8 years. And then after your pill goes from a liquid, it goes from a powder that can't be crushed into a powder, but when you crush it, it's kind of malleable. So then they're able to hold on for the patent for another 6 to 8 more years. And then once you get about 20 years plus or minus 4, you lose all rights to the patent and generics come out. That's the pharmaceutical industry. It's always been like that. So anyway, this book right here is essentially about the early days when they weaponized. It's not necessarily about like the aerosols that are in this book right here called A Terrible Mistake, which is essentially about the CIA, is essentially about Europe and Britain and Germany using American institutions and money to fund their crazy ass gas experiments and shit like that. But this book right here is about them changing the swine flu and making it a weapon. And it even talks about how in 2020 or 2019 or 2021, when this would start to affect people. Bro, the book is very eerie. You can look, the free PDF is online. But this is a good book too about killing people.
That's
why it's called
that's the terrible mistake.
So one of the first chapters, because you know the Smith Modernization Act that Obama did. So back in the day, they did the Smith-Mundt Act, which allowed Congress to use federal employees to lie to media and media institutions to get their message across. And so the Mundt guy, who was essentially a part of the OSS that became the CIA, he was like the procurement family, and I can only imagine what his family does today. Because essentially, we will name them as they hit the sidewalk, is the name of the title of like chapter 2 or 3. And that's just, they throw you out the fucking window, and they'll name you as you hit the sidewalk. It's a very good book.
Very thick. You could kill.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, you could kill someone with that book.
Yeah. Well, it's all about like studying the LSD, like all.
That joke went
all the truth syrup is a heavy super dose of THC. Like it's an extremely high percentage of THC mixed with acid or LSD, and that'll just get anybody to fucking start. They'll tell anything in the world. They don't give a shit anymore. It's amazing how simple this shit is. And you're like, science fiction is gay. It's like, you just read this. You're like, they do it. It's so simple. It's so simple.
So just get a bunch of THC and a bit of acid, and
it's
inject it into your enemies and have them blab, and then record.
Yeah, that's how I felt.
What is this?
We gotta wrap this up, bro.
Yeah, I know.
I'm going to bed.
One of the funny things about this book is about the aerosols, and you know how we were talking about with the blue man and his penis.
Oh, Dr. Manhattan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And you remember in that movie, part of how one of the way that they give a person cancer is in the hospital, in the AC vent, it's just always spraying out this poisonous chemical.
Yeah.
So anyone who's coming in, they're going to get cancer. It's in this book. It's so amazing how willingly they are to just straight up tell you what the fuck they did. It's fucking fascinating. So anyway, that's all my political talk for the day.
you saying like it was like sci-fi goes to all these hoops and like you have this stuff in your life that's like way more straightforward and gets to like a more high-pitched kind of thing. Like I couldn't help but watch Inception and think like, this is such bullshit. Like, you want this guy to sell his company? Why don't you just like have somebody he knows like be like, dude, you ever think about selling your company? idea implanted. Like I'm just like, why would you go through all this shit? Like,
Yeah.
It's the way they talked about Django Unchained and I think it was at the end of that thing, like where John Malin's like shitting on Django Unchained because he's like, all they had to do is just go and say they wanted her to buy her. Like, why did they go through all this convoluted shit? Like, I'm just like, yeah, we could cut a bunch of movies down in like 5 minutes. But
well, probably because in that case, if they had gone up to her and say, we want to buy this particular person, there's always a chance that the seller would be like, no, you really want this person? No, I'm not going to sell that.
Yeah,
Seems valuable. Like, no
Yeah,
way am I going to do that.
I think there's more to it than his recollection of it. But yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a good time to drop off. Any last projects, things you want to
Yes. I will be doing Friday.
Oops. Sorry.
Thank you for cutting me off there, Lucius. That was
I was
really
trying
nice
to blow
of
you up. I was trying to blow you up, and
I'm doing a stream this Friday on my channel, Fresher Luke. Fridays with Fresher. I'm going to have a special guest on, special mystery guest. It's at 4 p.m. Pacific. Tune in then. And yeah, we're going to be drawing, going to be talking about this particular person. So tune in and find out who it is.
All right. Bring him back Fridays with Fresher.
Well, I think this might be my only show for the rest of the year.
All right. One for the road. All right.
One for the road. One for the road.
J Money.
Hello. I may be streaming tomorrow between 9 and 10. Depends on if Heather clocks out Eastern time. So that's perfect time for the
Pre-Jack
motherfuckers
show
in California. And it's going to be the pre-Jack show. We're going to have the Quaif on there. We'll bring Mr. Metal Movies and Brewskis. Talk about his book a little bit as well.
All
and
right.
it's follow me on
at J
Twitter.
Dollar sign. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for dropping by. Thanks for being on, you too. And catch you next week.
Stay fresh.